Today we are talking about the truth behind the cost of living in Boston. What's up, guys? This is Albert. Again, we're covering the cost of living in depth in Boston today. Before we get into that, subscribe to our channel. This is what we do here. If you have any questions, I'm a real estate agent. If you're looking to move here, if you're looking to buy a property, this is what I do. Call, text, or email me. Book a meeting with me. Link is right below. Again, subscribe to our channel. Let's get into the video right now. So the average cost of living per person in Boston is about $2,889 per month. This places Boston in the top 1% of the most expensive cities to live in, ready, in the world. And it ranks 26th in the United States out of 2,202 cities. And 31st most expensive cities in the world out of 9,294 cities. So we got a lot to cover, right? Boston is in the top 1% of most expensive cities in the world, one of the most expensive cities in the country. It also is one of the most popular cities in the world, I would argue, for multiple reasons. So let's get into the quality of life in Boston. Expenses are high, but the quality of life in Boston is, in my opinion, worth it. It's one of the best cities to live in the world. Actually, it is ranked number 121 on the list of the best cities to live in the world, which places it in the top 2% of the cities worldwide. It's also 39th best city to live in the United States, which is better than Los Angeles, New Orleans, Virginia Beach, and even Honolulu, right? So some of really great cities. It's over those cities to live in the world. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the affordability in the city. Another factor to keep in mind in Boston and why, although the cost of living is high, one of the highest, guess what? The salaries in Boston, the average salaries in Boston are some of the highest as well. With $77,000 per year on average salary, this is one of the highest average salaries in the world per city. Another thing to keep in mind is that 22% of Boston residents hold an advanced degree. It's also a market of fast-growing jobs, particularly in healthcare, finance, and tech, which is some of the highest paying jobs historically out there. Again, the average salary is about $77,000, which is higher than New York City, but the cost of living of New York City is higher than Boston. Another important factor in the cost of living is obviously housing. Housing is a major expense for most people when it comes to their cost of living. Now, housing is very challenging in Boston. In my opinion, it's probably the most challenging thing that the city is facing right now. There's simply not enough housing in Boston. Boston ranks at about 300% higher on average cost of housing than the national average, which is crazy if you think about it. And simply that there's just not enough houses to go around. So the median price for an apartment in Boston is about $717,000. Okay, if you're looking to buy something, and then the monthly rent is right about $2,249 per month for a smaller space. If you compare that with the average salary per month of $5,045, that's literally more than half of your salary that is going towards housing, especially if you're buying something at $717,000 with the interest rates right now. Even if you're putting 20% down, I mean, honestly, it's more than half. It's like 75% of your salary is going to go towards your housing expenses. Why is housing so expensive in Boston? Simply put, there isn't enough houses being built. A study by the nonprofit Up for Growth released earlier this year, it ranked Massachusetts as the state number 11 for the worst housing deficit in the country. Okay, Massachusetts is about 108,000 more homes needed each year to meet the demand. And with the demand increasing, there seems to not be an end in sight, okay? Because all these opportunities increasing, it's just housing is simply not keeping up, and it's just getting more and more competitive to buy something, to rent something, and it just doesn't seem, again, to be an end in sight since we've been facing this challenge for really the last 10 years, and during COVID, this has become a much, much bigger challenge. And I don't know, I don't see an out on this in the next really 5 years. A new report shows that the greater Boston area is facing a crippling housing shortage. The 2022 Greater Boston Housing Report Card and the Boston Foundation's annual accounting of the state of housing in Boston and the areas surrounding the city shows that the region would receive a failing grade along almost every metric for measuring housing accessibility, said Emily Pelton, Boston Foundation president and CEO during the report launch event. So again, I think you get the point. that housing is a challenge, especially if you're looking to buy. You need to really understand the market, and you need to figure out the best way to navigate, to put you in a position to win in competitive situations, but also to not overpay or pay a good price where you're going to be in a good position next 3 to 5 years when you purchase a property in Boston. But here's some good news though, right? The city has launched a program. This is very new. I think it happened literally like a week ago. It's launched a program to encourage landlords to convert underused office building into residential use. The push mirrors office to housing conversions efforts in other cities, trying to breathe life back into downtown business districts that emptied out during COVID and then most likely are not coming back. We all know it, right? During COVID, a lot of people started working from home, and now it's the trend that you can work from home and people are not returning. So the commercial industry is struggling, and this the city of Boston and other cities obviously see it as an opportunity to develop more housing in those spaces. The aim of the public-private partnership is to help Boston create more downtown housing units while also generating foot traffic throughout the week to help the local businesses who have been struggling since COVID, since the foot traffic is not the same because the workers have never returned full-time to the office, said Mayor Michelle Wu in a recent interview. She also added one building could potentially create hundreds of new housing units that could include a lot of affordable units. Wu said during an appearance Tuesday on GBH News, if we get 3 of those buildings downtown with a couple hundred units each, that'd be a significant step. Obviously, I agree. That makes a lot of sense. Under the program, owners of commercial office buildings downtown would be offered reduced property tax rates in return for immediately. I don't know what that means immediately. I don't know how you can immediately convert their buildings to residential use. I mean, I'm assuming they mean immediately starting the work or initiating the work to convert these buildings. And these projects would also receive help from the city to streamline the approval process, which is amazing. What this means is, if you really think about it, they're talking about reducing regulations, making it easier for these people to get permits, approvals, so that they can get to work and get in there and get going. Important to note what happened during COVID between 2019 and 2023. The vacancy rate on these buildings went from, in 2019, it was about 12.2%, and in 2023 is about 17.8%. So that's the difference, and that's why these buildings are struggling. This is happening all over the country in the major cities, so that's why this push is also happening. So this could be a very, very interesting opportunity for downtowns Boston and all local businesses. But we have to wait and see how things turn out in the next 6 months as this story develops. All right, guys, so here you have it. This is the truth behind the cost of living in Boston. Obviously, expensive city. Average salaries are high. Lifestyle is high. Healthcare is great. A lot of job opportunities. Great economy. Growth overall. The biggest challenge is housing, and you can see that the city is working on coming up with ways and options to figure this out and see if they can combat this. But overall, that's the average cost of living in Boston. It is one of the highest in the country, one of the highest in the world, but also you get some of the best opportunities in the country and the best opportunities in the world. I hope you enjoyed this video. My name is Albert. I'm an agent here. If you're looking to purchase a property, if you're looking to sell in Boston, hit me up, send me an email, send me a text. The link is right below. Book a meeting with me. Let's hang out.